I'm talking to Karen Ferris, who is the Director of Publications and a member of the itSMF Australia Board. Karen has just returned from a special ITSM think tank which was convened in Las Vegas as part of the Pink 2014 conference, known as the Pink Think Tank. Karen, if I could first of all ask you, how did the concept of the Pink Think Tank come about, and what is the motivation for its creation?
Well, in essence, and I think this conversation has probably taken place at numerous conferences, but my understanding is back in 2013 at the Pink Conference, there's a lot of people with a lot of industry knowledge, recognised personalities, if you like, sitting around in a bar after the day and discussing things. And the conversation was, you know, we really should leverage off the fact that all these people are in one location and have all this knowledge and do something with that. So Rob England, also known as the IT Skeptic, drove the initiative along with the team at Pink, and started talking about how we could get what they called sort of some of the luminaries in the industry together. They had a list initially, I think it was around 40, and based on a set of criteria, they narrowed that down. And then sent invitations out to the likes of Charles Betts, David Cannon, myself, Charles Aroro, James Finister. Rob was part of that, of course, and Troy Dumoulin. Rodrigo Flores was invited, but unfortunately couldn't make it. But the team did constantly say during the day of the think tank, you know, what would Rodriguez have said? And Jack Probst from Pink was a great facilitator for the day as well. Once the group had been established, Rob then led a number of discussions online about what we should talk about, and one of the drivers was we wanted a subject matter that was obviously current and of concern and a challenge, but also narrow enough that the team could come up at the end of the day with some pragmatic advice for the Pink 14 audience. We didn't want to spend a day at blue sky thinking and just coming up with, you know, conceptual sort of ideas. So the group got together on the Saturday prior to the Pink conference, locked ourselves away for a day. On the Sunday, collated some of the findings into a presentation, and they delivered that to the Pink 14 audience on the Monday, as well as having a panel session on the Wednesday for people to ask questions about what we'd discussed.
So what sort of subject matter was discussed by this panel of luminaries in Las Vegas?
So we decided to discuss increasing multi-supplier value streams. And what we meant by that was that increasingly now we're seeing commoditization of services, products and services that IT have traditionally delivered, and IT getting squeezed by the mainstreaming of IT into the business, so the business being able to, you know, acquire and engage suppliers for these commoditized services, as well as suppliers driving more commoditization and squeezing IT from the bottom. So IT in the middle, struggling with this evolving ecosystem of suppliers, whilst trying to deliver, you know, value to the business. So that was the key of the subject matter that we discussed.
So what's, other than this commoditisation and the squeeze from the business, you know, what other sort of trends are you or was the panel observing in relation to what's happening in ITSM at the moment, and what sort of solutions to these challenges were identified?
Well, we're going to see, you know, business innovation accelerating through all of these emergent technologies and embedding these technologies into their business practices. We're also going to see that anything that doesn't currently give differentiating value to a business is a prime candidate for commoditization and delivery by somebody else. So IT is very much going to have to understand the business vertical that they're in, the value that they add to the business. The supplier ecosystem is going to grow and more complex, and the team didn't have any, you know, concrete solutions. We all just agreed that this is a shifting sand and changing dramatically, and it's not something that's coming; it's something that's already here, and that the traditional role of IT is very much going to change. And one of the comments made at the think tank was that, if you are looking to stay in your sort of traditional IT role, you either end up in the basement, keeping what lights are left need to be left kept on, or you'll be in the cloud working for an Amazon or a Google. For the future of service management, the focus is going to be very much on management of suppliers. The supplier management has become elevated, business relationship management, demand management. So we talked about, what does it mean for service management? Well, service management is still relevant, absolutely, but there's has to be a shift in our focus to those things that I've just mentioned. Supplier management skills are going to become key. So people looking to ready themselves for the future need to look at being able to equip themselves with their new skills and capabilities. So things like supply management, procurement, negotiation, contractual management, financial management, those are the areas that IT is going to need to skill up, as well as in the individuals in those areas.
So the concept of this think tank and keeping these minds together and working towards solutions for IT service management challenges in the future. What's the next step for the think tank initiative? Where are you going to try and share the knowledge that you gathered?
Absolutely. There's some material that's already gone out. There's a blog that I've written about a summary of the findings that's available on the itSMF Australia website. There's also some other information that's been sent out by the contributors to the think tank. And one of the things we were committed to, we said this will not start and stop in Vegas. There was a lot more material and output than I've been able to talk about in this brief interview. So there's a whole series of white papers that have already been planned, and the aim is to get some, if not all of them, out by Easter. And one of them will be a lot more detail on the findings, the trends, the implementations for service management. There's another one that's going to look at in more detail what the career implications of this shift in IT is going to bring as well. So as soon as they are available, we'll all be sending out links to those and making them available through social media channels as well. So absolutely keep an eye out for those.
Okay, thanks very much, Karen.